Welcome to the fitness podcast Beyond the Workout, featuring your host, Coach E, where we give you health and fitness tips that go beyond the gym and help you along your fitness journey. So stay tuned and enjoy the show. Thank you for your interest in this podcast, Beyond the Workout. As a disclaimer, anything you hear in this show from me, Coach E, Eric Dunstan, or any of my guests that is related to health, exercise, nutrition is just that. It's information only. What works specifically for you has to be thoroughly evaluated and checked by a professional, either your physician or a professional personal trainer. Okay, enjoy the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another show of Beyond the Workout. It's me, Coach E, Eric Dunstan, here for you. And I have a show that I feel is exciting. It's exciting to me, and it's one that I was encouraged to think about recording this week because of running into someone at the gym. But I had thought about, after speaking to this person, doing a show on MAP and motivation. And MAP is an acronym for mastery, autonomy, and purpose. Well, I went back and I was looking through my podcast shows, and I went to episode 18, and that was way back in 2021. Because I tried to do my shows in seasons at one time, but there were so many gaps. It wasn't a seasonal show, and it's hardly a per episode show unless I'm consistent. And I told y'all I'm trying to be more consistent. So I think this is episode 35. If I'm wrong, it's one of them. It's one of the episodes. But that map yourself, or map to self motivation, I think it was called, episode 18. If you go back to that, it is myself and my lovely wife, Michelle, talking about that acronym: mastery, autonomy, and purpose. We detail that. So if you need a little motivation, I would say go back, listen to that episode of Beyond the Workout. And the one thing about listening to those episodes, speed it up, listen to it a little fast. And unfortunately for my deaf friends, I'm not sure if I actually captioned that. If I didn't, if you're looking at this and you want to go back and see that one, and you need me to caption it for you, I can add closed captioning to it. But let me know. I'm not sure. I was listening to it in the car. But anyway, let's get to the point. I was going to do that show now. This was going to be a map motivation show. But then I'm like, well, if I already did it, I don't have to, reinvent the wheel. I can just have you go back and listen to it. But I want to further that point of motivation, because here at my apartment we have a gym, and it's a little bit better than a hotel gym, but not like a big box commercial gym. And it is nice because it has one of my favorite machines in it, the Stairmaster. And you can go to some gyms and you won't find but one or two Stairmasters. And I think Planet Fitness has 4 of them. But to come into an apartment gym and they put a Stairmaster, wow, I love it. But I'm getting off the point here. When I was in the gym, this lady was in there. And, I didn't say anything to her. She didn't say anything to me, but I was filming. I was trying to film myself doing a squat using a Smith machine. Well, let me show you right here. See this pic? See the video? This is me trying to show how you can perform a proper squat using a Smith machine. And maybe I'll share why later. Maybe I'll do a video on it. I did a video. Maybe I'll talk about it. We'll see. Well, she was walking past and she thought I was filming at that time. And she said, no, she was. I told her, no, I wasn't. And she picked up this water bottle that I had seen already. And it was a huge water bottle. I'm like, and no one was around it at first. The water bottle just sat like its own person on the floor. And I'm thinking to myself, who owns such a huge water bottle? Well, she was leaving. She picked up the water bottle. And I said, wow, I was curious who had that size of a water bottle. And and she stopped like she wanted to have a conversation. So she told me how she's trying to increase her water intake and so on and so forth. And now when someone starts talking about health and what they're trying to do with their goals, I'm going to be interested. And I slowed and stopped my workout to talk to her. But here's the thing. When she started talking about her goals and what she was trying to reach out for, her whole, you know, demeanor, the countenance, her face and her body just slumped. Yeah, and her voice just changed. It was high pitched when she's like, "This is my water bottle. I try to drink lots of water, many ounces a day." But when she started talking about her exercise and her goal, what she's trying to get to, it just seems like it took the life out of her. I'm thinking that's not good. And she says, "Well, I start and then I stop. I start and then I stop. And when I stop, I have to start all over again." And she just wasn't into exercising. And let me ask you, is that like many of you out there? Is this a thing that the word exercise is a four-letter word to you, a bad word to you? Is it something that just when you think about it, it's just stressful to think about? Do you think about it being really, really hard? And believe me, that's where she came across. She's like, yeah, when I work out and I work out hard, I feel so sore, and then I stop and I can't get back into it. And then I go months and I won't get back into it. Well, I told her the one thing that I do, and matter of fact, that day, like I told you, I was squatting. I told her I don't like leg day, but I love training legs. It's kind of contradictory, isn't it? But I love training my legs because my legs are the foundation to my body. It's what hold my body up. And so when you think about that, when you have that mindset that I love doing this, tell yourself you love doing it, you'll come back and do it again and again and again. So that's just me. I'm going to go in there and do just enough of my exercises. It can be 10 minutes. In fact, I think that a couple of days ago, I just did 9-minute workout and I was out. I was done. I felt good. And I was a little sore after that. So anyway, the thing I told her about was setting goals, and you've probably heard it over and over again about setting goals. So I'm just going to run through this real quick about goal setting. There are 4 things I'm going to talk to you about, but in the end, I'm going to tell you about 2 goals that are not well spoken of. I mean, not spoken of much. I shouldn't say not well spoken of, but you never hear of it. But you've probably done one of them, but didn't realize it. And one of these is remarkable, and it's taken from a speech I heard from 1962. And believe me, I think this is one thing that everyone should do. But let's go through the basic, normal stuff we normally hear about goals, but you might like some of this. Now, for you out there who are my contemporaries, are you 50 years old, 60 years old, or 70? Now, I'm in the 50-year range. I'm not 70 yet. I'm closer to 60. But we are busy. We are taking care. You probably still perhaps taking care of family. You're probably working full time. You probably have other activities that you like to do, but it's probably really hard to get into doing a regular, steady program of exercise. And I do mine 6 days a week. But let's see what I talk about here that can help you set goals and keep them. So there's something I just want to read to you. And it was fascinating. And it talked about New Year's resolutions, because it started off talking about how changing your behavior is hard. And even though you might say, well, that's an old study, it's years ago, but just listen to the percentages and the time and think, is it really that much different? So it talked about the recent rates of the chances of success of New Year's resolutions indicate that while 52% of people are confident of success, only 12% report success in keeping New Year's resolutions. 52% are confident, 12% report success. Then it talked about an example of weight loss in a Gallup poll from 2008. Now, don't worry about the year, from 2008, said 56% of Americans said they would like to lose weight, while only 30% were seriously trying. But now remember that Gallup poll was in 2008. Now notice this. It says even more telling. 59% of those interviewed in 2001, that was 7 years before, said they were trying to lose weight. 59% said it then. Remember what the Gallup poll said in 2008, 56% were trying or would like to lose weight. So really it implies that at least 15% were still trying even 7 years later. So maybe the question that we should be asking is, why do people set goals and fail to keep them? Well, one thing it mentions about the commitment device, and it says a commitment device is an arrangement that a person enters into with themselves to make certain choices more expensive than others. The idea behind the theory is that people have consistently experienced problems with self-control in a number of areas. And these problems with self-control lead to a lot of missed goals, unkept commitments, and forgotten resolutions. So you probably have tried goals and you probably have missed goals. I've had tried goals and I've missed goals. But let's talk about 4, and then I'll get to the 2 that after that. So it'll be a total of 6 that you can probably try. The first one is use small goals that carry high confidence levels. Now, it's like steps. You have to start small and work your way up. And it says starting with small goals with which your confidence is high is a fantastic way to build confidence. And if you're trying to change a behavior that you have tried to change in the past, building confidence is essential. To determine which goals are right for you, just ask yourself a few questions like, what is one small change that you would like, that you could make, that you would consider a success toward your goals? And then you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. How confident are you that you could make that change? Here's some examples. Let's say you're walking for 20 minutes every day, or eating 20 grams of protein every morning, drinking coffee as opposed to cappuccinos or mochas, eating, which I wouldn't recommend, but I'm going to say it because it's an example here, or eating only 1 brownie every other day instead of 3 brownies. So you might say, well, I can do that. That's a small step. So in order to ensure that your confidence to reach these goals is high, your answer to the second question should be, when you rate it, should be 8 or above. So you can't say, oh, I think I can get that in about a 4 or 5. Nope. Your confidence level is what you're rating. If you feel like, yeah, I can cut out those mochas, those frappuccinos, just go coffee, then no coffee, which I hope you say, then go tea. These are the little steps you can make. This is Coach E giving you a little coaching there. So in order for any behavior change strategy to work, and especially a commitment device, we have to start with successes that will develop confidence in our abilities. Then before moving to larger challenges, often that's what we start with, the small ones, and then take those steps. What do you think? Step 1, small goals that carry high confidence levels. What do you think? You like that one? All right, let's go to number 2. Use frequent hard commitments. Now, you might like this one. It's pretty interesting when you when you think about what is required. It says hard commitments are those agreements we make that have penalties attached to them. For example, we agree that when we drive on the road, we will follow the speed limit, or we will likely have to pay a hefty speeding ticket. Now, similarly, you can make an agreement with a friend to increase the time you spend exercising. It might be like something like this. You might say, um, now I don't know if you would do it, and you can try this if you have the money. You can give a friend $1,000 to keep unless you run or walk 20 miles in 1 week. Whoa. Or you can give it to your spouse. You can give them $100 from which to dispense $10 for every day you don't eat ice cream. That's probably easy. Just give me the $100. I can go 10 days without eating ice cream. So both of these are examples of hard commitments. And while they may seem quite stern, maybe not the ice cream one, hard commitments consistently result in better outcomes. That is a lasting behavior change. Now, the basic idea behind hard commitments is that you make an agreement to do something, such as to adopt a healthy behavior, exercise more, eat less dessert. And if you fail to keep your commitment, you have to pay a penalty, which is typically financial in nature. So, because the cost of not performing the desired behavior, having to pay the penalty, is greater than the effort associated with the behavior, hard commitment strategies are very effective ways of changing that behavior. So, in terms of changing your behavior, it is best to use hard commitments with frequent time intervals. So, for example, you might design an agreement where you have to work out for 20 extra minutes every day for 1 week. Now, that's the time interval, not forever. I want to do it for 1 week, or avoid eating ice cream for 1 week. So by making the time intervals about 1 week or less relatively short, your chances of success increase and your confidence will build. So you can even increase the frequency with which you implement the penalty, by asking your friend or spouse to dispense a small portion of the total penalty back to you every day you're successful. Now, this is what that means. So to be clear, you might start by giving your friend $1,000 to keep for you if you don't make your goal of 20 miles in a week of walking, and then ask your friend to give you back $50 for every mile you complete. You probably do that. So increasing the frequency in this way inserts small successes into the larger task of reaching your weekly mileage goal and makes the rewards of your efforts more frequent and more tangible. Now, this is interesting when I think about this. How long would that take if you say, let's stretch this out for 3 weeks? Of course, you do them a week at a time, maybe take a few days break in between. So it's just say 5 days. You say it's a 5-day week. You're not going to do it for 7 days. And you say, okay, 2 days, I'm going to take a break, then I'm going to start it again. So they say 21 days to form a habit. So even if it's just 5 days, you're going to be thinking about, I got to start again in 2 more days. So it's really a 3-week commitment that you're going to try this, and hopefully it becomes a normal habit for you. So a hard commitment. What do you think of that? So step number 3, move from smaller goals to larger goals. So starting with, it sounds like we did that, right? No, let's look at it this way. It says starting with small goals is a great way to build confidence. And once you have had success at achieving a desired goal, you'll be ready to move to a larger one. So here's an example. Let's say that you started with a small goal to walk 10 minutes every day for 1 week, and you successfully reach this goal. Well, why not the next week go to 15 minutes? What about that? You can also choose a different goal entirely, such as eating one small yogurt for dessert every day for the next week. That's what I used to do with ice cream. Instead of having regular ice cream that had a lot of that fat and sugar in it, I started doing frozen yogurts because it was a little less. Now I go to plant-based ice creams. It still has a lot of sugar. And, my previous episodes, I say get off the sugar. Okay, you can't do it 100% because mentally you'll go crazy. So don't go 100%. Just lower that sugar really, really low for, for the week. Like maybe 6 days, no sugar, and then one day, a little sugar. That's what I recommend. Um, it says like one thing to keep in mind is to make the shift from small goals to larger ones, incremental in nature. And it gives an example, like if you were successful at reaching one of those goals you had a confidence level of 8 on, the next progression would be to attempt a goal at which you have a confidence level of 7. And then you might say, well, I wasn't too confident in that. Well, now you did this one, you move down to that lower one because you weren't so confident. And maybe now you confident you can get it and you can try to make success with have success with it. So one of these things it mentioned about this having something small, starting with something small. Now I heard this as a nice goal with your meals. So let's say that you had, like, you would like to eat a bagel with cream cheese or bagel with jam or something. So, and you still had, your bacon and eggs, just greasy food. Maybe taking that bagel and now having it without the cream cheese. And then changing it from a bagel to a piece of toast, and eventually getting rid of the toast. And then slowly but surely, you do this over a period of days, say about the second week, your breakfast is a little bit more healthier. So to me, that's incremental. Those are small moves. After you get breakfast dialed in, then you move to your lunch and start moving things out of that plate that aren't too healthy and replacing with something healthy. And then you move to your dinner. Then by the time you get your breakfast, lunch, and dinner dialed in where it's healthy, guess what? Your whole day you're eating healthy. Then you can say, okay, I'm gonna do this for 6 days, and the seventh day I'm gonna have a little cheat meal. That, that can work, right? So the fourth one is connect goals to long-term outcomes. Now, I really do like this one because it says, while any goal attainment carries a positive connotation, it is best to always connect whatever goals you achieve to long-term outcomes. The reason for this is that people always work harder on goals that they have an interest in. You are much more likely to allocate effort toward achieving a small goal when you see it in a much larger perspective of your life and when it represents something that is very important to you. Now, here's a beautiful example. Let's say that your primary reason for losing weight loss is to keep up with your kids or your grandkids. So you begin by choosing a commitment strategy with a small goal of walking 10 minutes per day, or you could say a penalty of $10 a day should you not complete your walk. Uh, and you are successful at this goal, so you move to another goal to eat only maybe half a candy bar for dessert for 1 week. And again, you're successful. Now, while these goals are a great start, you must keep in mind it's not that little goal that you're keeping in mind. Those, eating that half a candy bar, walking those 10 miles. It is that purpose that you have, that commitment you have, that desire to keep up with your kids or your grandkids. And you could say, you know what? I'm going to go out and spend 10 minutes playing a little bit of sports outdoors with my kids, or doing a dance thing with a gaming system with my kids, doing 10 minutes of that with the kids every day. If you're doing it with them, then it might go from 10 minutes to 12 minutes to 15 minutes. And then you've reached your commitment goal of your outcome goal of being able to keep up with your kids or your grandkids. So those are the 4 step goals that you can consider. That I'm throwing them out there because, hey, that's something you might hear. It might be a gem for you and you might like, and you say, you know what, that's what I'll do. I'll do one of those. You might have wrote it down. You can listen to this again and go back and remember, play it fast and right through it, and I don't know how I'm gonna caption that, but you can go right through it and listen to points that you might have liked. So I said after I go through those 4 steps. Now, when I was talking to this young lady, I told her about a method of setting a goal, which I thought was amazing. And I'm gonna save the amazing one for last. So the other one I heard, this is 5 of these 4. This is not part of anything that I've studied, but it's just what I've listened to. So one was to write on a piece of paper or card a goal that you want, something that you want for yourself and that you may be passionate about. Write it on a card, put it in your pocket, and every day look at it. Just every day, pull it out and look at it. And I thought that was great because it keeps it, top of mind. And it might be something you're going to push for. It could be a weight goal. You can write on there, I want to get to this particular weight. Fine. You want to be strong enough to do such and such. Well, fine. Keep looking at it and keep pushing toward it. Now, the one that I told her, which I heard from a talk speech from 1962, was fascinating. And this goal, I've tried myself, and I know I've done it without actually doing the physical part of writing it down. But I want you to try it. And it's called planting a seed or planting the goal. So what you're supposed to do now, if you're driving, and when you get to a place where you can do this, I want you to think about, because you can do this for many, you can do this for other goals as well. You can have more than one goal doing this method. In fact, in that speech, it recommended doing 15 of these, 20 of these. I think so far I've done 2, but I have plans to do more. So what you do is you sit down, you get a piece of paper, and you define exactly what goal you want. You see it as you're writing, you're meditating on it, you're picturing it. So, for example, suppose you say, I want, I want defined arms. I want my waist to be this size, and I want my fat percentage to be this. You just write it down. And as you're writing it, you're seeing your body in your mind. Now, this is just a goal. I'm not telling you to have this goal. I'm just giving you an example. You're seeing yourself look like what you want to look like. You're writing it out. You're putting every single detail in it. You want to know what your waist size is, your body fat percentage is, your weight is going to be. You want to write down how you want to feel, your energy level, how you want to sleep. You just write it down. This is my goal. This is what I want to become. This is what hey, look, I'm not putting a date on it. And when you write that down in every little detail and you can feel it and you're passionate about it, he said, right across that paper, thank you. Fold that paper up, put it in a drawer, under a table, under a chest, somewhere where you'll never see it again. You're burying it. But you've thought about it. And then eventually it's going to move you because you're going to think about all those details you put in. And you're going to start seeing things like you might see people that you say, man, that's who I want to look like. Man, they're doing that. Look, how old are you? We're the same age. Man. And that's just going to drive you to go further and further and further. I think it's a method that uh, of an example that they've given. Let's say you wanted to buy a car, and this is why I say I've done this before, because I remember years ago I wanted to buy a Honda Accord, and it was a particular year, a particular color, and I would look at the book that I want, and I would think, one day I'm gonna have that car. One day I'm gonna have it, and everywhere I went, you start seeing that car. So that car was a reminder. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. And you're going to see people move and act like you want to look. And it's going to drive you. And it's going to drive you to say, get up and go into that gym because that's going to be your goal. It's going to drive you to eat right. I just want you to try it and try it not with just like a body weight goal or things like that. Try it with maybe a financial goal that you want. Write it down in detail, write across it, thank you, and put it put it away. And he said bury it because it's like planting a seed, and like a farmer would plant a seed, but this the farmer wouldn't go and dig the seed up and see if it's starting to grow. So you wouldn't do that. You won't go back and say, "Where is that paper? Okay, what's happening? Why is this happening? Is this going to be accomplished soon? What am I doing to get there?" No. Once you detail exactly what you want, how you want to look, whatever your goal is, you detail it, and you feel it that you want to accomplish it. More likely, it's going to happen. And he said that speech was it said that a lot of people achieve more of their goals than not. Because a lot of people have 10 goals and they do it the old fashioned method of writing it down and setting a date. They might get 2 out of 10. But those who've tried this method have achieved a lot of their goals. So we'll see. I don't know what the outcome is going to be for me, but I have a goal, and you'll probably see it. Um, I might tell you. I don't know, but it's mine. It's my seed that I've buried, and I have more to come. So I hope that this show was something that helped you to consider making a goal, not a New Year's resolution. No, you make the goal by starting now. Make your commitment by starting now. I'm doing this podcast with just less than 2 months to go before the new year, before 2024. I'm doing this podcast. It's 2 months, less than 2 months before that. Start now, everyone out there. If you are over 50, you can start right now. If you are 60 years old, you can start now. I told you the story. I worked with someone that was 69 years old. She accomplished so much. She got strong. She was confident. She was appreciative. She didn't know how to lift weights, but she learned the basics and it worked. I think this will work for you. Go back, listen to this again. Consider how to set the goals that will make you accomplish your desired outcome. And I'm going to tell you all this. Please give it a try. Please work hard at it. You know, what else? What do you have to lose if you're going to work really hard at your health? My podcast is centered around health and fitness. It's called Beyond the Workout because exercise isn't the only thing. Maybe we'll talk about sleep. There's some things I've been learning about sleep. So we'll see what the next podcast show will be. I'm so happy to do this one for you. And I hope you found something beautiful out of it that you can use and apply to your life and reach your goal. Not come close to it. I want you to reach your goal. I want you feel good in your skin, as they say. So I hope this was encouraging to you, and I hope you found something beneficial. And as always, if you need to reach out to me, Coach E, you can go to my website. I have my calendar set up. Make an appointment with me. Let's just sit down and talk. EricDunstan.com. Look at some of the other stuff I have on there too. Maybe it's something you like. It's not too busy. Just look at some things that you can benefit from. I think I still have an exercise program. Now the exercise program comes up as a pop-up. You fill out your information, you get this program, and they got some videos attached to it on YouTube that you can actually do the exercises. But there's more to come from Coach E. I enjoy speaking to you all on my podcast. I'm glad I was able to do this show. And I hope, again, that you found something beneficial. So make sure you stay healthy, make sure you become strong, and Make great choices in your life with your health and everything in your life. All right. It's good talking to you all again. Take care.